Mark?
Yeah, back to Ukraine, Josh. The government in Kiev said today that they've seen Russian troops now in Donetsk and Lugansk, and in addition to the military columns we've been speaking about in southeastern Ukraine, they're convinced that what they have is the Russian military, that's who they're fighting there. Why is the United States government still not calling this an invasion?
Well, Mark, what we have described, the way that we have described this is that it's consistent with the kinds of destabilizing activities we've seen from Russia for a number of months now. That we have seen Russia provide weapons and material from the Russian side of the border into Ukraine, that they've been working intensively and closely with Russian-backed separatists to train them to use some of the equipment that's been provided. And there's ample evidence to indicate that Russian soldiers have been on the ground in Ukraine, engaged in an effort to support the separatists and in some cases even to attack Ukrainian military positions. This has all been a significant disappointment to the international community and to the President of the United States. We have routinely and consistently called on President Putin to use his influence with the Russian-backed separatists to de-escalate this conflict. As a result of Russia's failure to de-escalate the conflict, significant economic costs have been imposed on Russia, and it's taken a toll on the Russian economy.
So, the word invasion, why is that?
Well, what we have done is we have described their actions. We've been watching them very closely. We have been getting regular reports from the Ukrainians and others who are watching this situation. Obviously, NATO has played a leading role and produced ample evidence to indicate that Russia has intervened in ways that grossly violate the territorial integrity of the independent nation of Ukraine. And that is something that the United States, along with all of our international partners, stands foursquare against. We want to make sure that we're doing everything that we can to hold up and protect these international norms, that it's not okay for large countries to flagrantly violate the territorial integrity of their smaller neighbors.
You don't think that by failing to call it an invasion, calling it what many of your NATO partners frankly think it is, that doesn't embolden the Russians and Vladimir Putin specifically to just continue taking more and more, less and less covert action?
I don't think it emboldens them at all, because this is something that we've been talking about and raised publicly on many, many different occasions here over the last several months. I would say that the other thing that I took note of is that even when produced with photographic evidence of Russia's interference in Ukraine, that Russian officials have offered up denials that fly in the face of pretty clear evidence in the facts. That may be the best indication of how vulnerable Russia feels about this situation right now, that they can't even admit the truth about what's happening when confronted with clear evidence about what exactly is happening. I think that's a pretty good indication of how confident they're feeling about the situation right now. Okay? Carrie.